I waited 10 patient years to see the look on my ex-wife's face. When she finally realized the poor waiter serving her drinks actually owned the entire building. I polished the glass slowly. The light made it shine. I put it down on the bar. I picked up another glass. I polished it too. The party was big tonight. Rich people walked around me. They wore expensive clothes. They drank expensive wine. They talked about money and power. I wore a white apron. I wore a black shirt. I looked like a server. I looked like a poor man. I looked like a loser. But I was not poor. I was not a loser. I owned this place. I owned the bar. I owned the building. I owned everything here. Tonight, I played a role. I played the poor server. I waited for someone special. I waited for two people. I waited 10 years for this night. I waited 3,650 days. Every day, I planned. Every day, I worked. Every day, I got ready. Now the time came. A big car stopped outside. It was a Rolls-Royce. The car was black and shiny. The door opened. A woman stepped out. She was beautiful. She wore a red dress. Her hair was perfect. Her shoes cost more than most cars. Diamonds hung from her neck. It was Stella, my ex-wife. My heart beat fast, but my face stayed calm. I showed nothing. A man stepped out behind her. He was tall. He wore an expensive suit. His watch was gold. His smile was cold. It was Holden. Holden destroyed my family. Holden took everything from me. Holden was the reason my father died, and Stella left me for him. She chose him. She chose his money. She left me when I had nothing. Now, they walked into my party. They walked past me. They did not know the truth. Stella looked around the room. Her eyes moved across the people. Then, her eyes found me. She stopped. She looked at me. She saw the apron. She saw the glass in my hand. She saw the bar. Her face changed. First, she looked surprised. Then she looked sorry for me, but her eyes showed something else. They showed contempt. They showed victory. She walked closer to me. Holden walked beside her. "Jackson?" she said. Her voice was soft but cold. "Hello, Stella," I said. I kept my voice quiet. I kept my head down a little. Holden looked at me. He smiled. It was not a kind smile. "A drink," he said. "Whiskey. The expensive one." "Yes, sir," I said. I made the drink. My hands were steady. I gave him the glass. He took it. He pulled out his wallet. He put a $5 bill on the bar. It was a small tip. It was an insult. "Thank you, sir," I said. I took the money. I smiled at him. Stella watched me. She looked happy. She thought I was poor. She thought I was broken. She thought she won. Holden laughed. He took Stella's arm. They walked away from the bar. I watched them go. I put the $5 bill in my pocket. I smiled, but it was not a real smile. They thought I was nothing. They thought I was a failure. They thought I was just a poor server. They were wrong. Tonight, they would learn the truth. Tonight, everything would change. Tonight, I would show them what 10 years of planning could do. I picked up another glass. I started to polish it. I looked calm. I looked normal, but inside, I was ready. The trap was set. They just walked into it. Soon, very soon, they would understand. I waited 3,650 days for this moment. Now it was here. I stood behind the bar. I remembered everything. The memories came back to me. 10 years ago, my life was different. Stella and I were married. We were young. We were happy. We did not have much money, but we had love. We had hope. I worked with my father. He owned a small construction company. We built houses. We built stores. We worked hard every day. The company was small, but it was ours. My father built it from nothing. He was proud of it. Then Holden came. Holden was already rich. He owned many companies. He wanted to own more. He saw my father's company. He wanted it. My father said no. He did not want to sell. Holden smiled. He said okay. He left. But Holden did not give up. He came back with lawyers. He came back with contracts. He came back with lies. Holden found old contracts. He changed the words. He made fake debts. He said my father owed him money. My father showed the real contracts. But Holden had powerful lawyers. Holden had judges who owed him favors. Holden had money for bribes. The court believed Holden. The court said, my father must pay. My father could not pay. The debt was too big. It was a lie, but no one cared. The bank took everything. The company closed. The workers lost their jobs. My father lost his life's work. My father got sick. The stress was too much. His heart could not take it. One morning, he fell down. He could not speak. He could not move. I called the ambulance. I rode with him to the hospital. I held his hand. The doctors tried to help, but it was too late. My father died 3 days later. He died from a stroke, but really, Holden killed him. I went home. I told Stella. I cried. I needed her, but Stella did not comfort me. She did not hold me. She looked at me with cold eyes. She went to the bedroom. She pulled out a suitcase. She started to pack her clothes. What are you doing? I asked. I am leaving, she said. Leaving? Now? My father just died. I know, she said. I am sorry, but I cannot stay. Why? I asked. I need you. We can survive this together. She stopped packing. She looked at me. No, Jackson, she said. I cannot live like this. I cannot be poor. I cannot struggle anymore. But we have each other, I said. That is not enough, she said. What do you mean? Holden talked to me, she said. He promised me a real life. He promised me money. He promised me everything you cannot give me. I felt cold. I felt sick. You talked to Holden? To the man who killed my father? He did not kill anyone, she said. He just won. And I want to be with a winner. So, you choose him? You choose money over me? Yes, she said. She did not even look sorry. She closed the suitcase. She walked to the door. Goodbye, Jackson, she said. I hope you understand someday. Then she left. She walked out the door. She got into Holden's car. They drove away together. I lost everything that week. I lost my father. I lost my wife. I lost my money. I lost my future. I stood alone in our empty apartment. I felt broken. I felt destroyed. But then something changed inside me. The pain turned into something else. It turned into determination. It turned into a plan. I would not stay broken. I would rise again. I would make them pay, not with violence, not with anger, with patience, with intelligence, with the truth. Now, 10 years later, I stood in my own building. I gripped the serving tray in my hands. The pain was still there, but now it had a purpose. Tonight, the plan would work. Tonight, they would fall. Tonight, justice would come. The lights went down. Music played. Everyone looked at the stage. A man walked up to the microphone. He smiled at the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, "tonight is special. Tonight, we have a very important guest. Please welcome Holden Morrison." Everyone clapped. Holden walked onto the stage. He smiled his cold smile. He waved at the people. Stella sat in the front row. She looked so proud. She looked so happy. I stood near the wall. I held an empty tray. I watched everything. Holden started to talk. His voice was loud and clear. "Thank you all for coming," he said. "Tonight is a big night. Tonight, I sign a very important deal. This deal will make my company twice as big. This deal will make me more powerful than ever." People clapped again. They loved him. They believed in him. "I am also running for senator," Holden said. "I want to serve this great state. I want to help people. I want to make things better. More clapping. More smiles." Everyone believed his lies. I watched. I said nothing. I showed nothing on my face. A man brought papers onto the stage. He put them on a table. Holden picked up a pen. "This contract is with a new company," Holden said. "A company called Vanguard Holdings. Tonight, I buy this company. Tonight, I become even stronger." He did not know the truth. Vanguard Holdings was my company. The contract was not what he thought, but he would sign it anyway. Holden loved to show off. He loved to prove his power. He would sign anything if it made him look strong. Someone touched my arm. I turned around. It was Stella. "Come with me," she said quietly. She pulled me into a dark corner. No one could see us there. She looked at me. Her face looked kind, but her eyes were not kind. "Jackson," she said. "How are you?" "I am okay," I said. I kept my voice small. I kept my head down. "It must be hard for you," she said. "Seeing us here? Seeing how successful Holden is?" "Yes," I said. "It is hard." She smiled. It was not a nice smile. "You see, Jackson? I chose right. Holden is like a king. He has everything: money, power, respect. And you." She looked at my apron. "You are still cleaning up after people." I said nothing. I looked at the floor. "I made the right choice 10 years ago," she said. "You must see that now." "Yes," I said softly. "You made the right choice." She looked happy. She thought she hurt me. She thought she won. "Stella," I said. I made my voice shake a little. "Can I ask you something?" "What?" she said. "Can you help me? Can you ask Holden to let me keep this job? I need the money. I have nothing else." She looked at me. She looked so satisfied, so superior. "You want me to ask Holden for a favor?" she said. "Please," I said. I made myself sound desperate. "I am begging you." She laughed quietly. "Okay, Jackson," she said. "I will ask him. Because I am a good person. I will help you." "Thank you," I said. "Thank you so much." She touched my shoulder. It was supposed to look kind, but it was just cruelty. "Stay here," she said. "Watch Holden sign the contract. Learn what real success looks like." She walked away. She went back to her seat in the front row. I stood in my dark corner. I watched the stage. Holden picked up the pen again. He looked at the papers. He did not read them carefully. He trusted his lawyers. He trusted his power. He signed his name, big and bold. Holden Morrison. The crowd clapped. Cameras flashed. Everyone celebrated. Holden held up the contract. He smiled for the photos. He thought he just won again. He thought he just got stronger. But he was wrong. He just signed his own destruction. I watched him on stage. I did not smile. I did not move. Stella looked back at me. She saw me standing alone in my apron. She thought I looked pathetic. She thought I looked broken. Perfect. They believed everything. They believed I was weak. They believed I was nothing. That was exactly what I wanted. The trap was ready. Holden signed the papers. Stella dropped her guard completely. Now, the real show could begin. I turned and walked toward the back of the room. I had work to do. The night was just starting. I walked to the back hallway. No one watched me. Everyone looked at the stage. I went into a small room. I locked the door behind me. I took off the apron. I took off the black shirt. I opened a closet. Inside was my real suit. It was expensive. It was perfect. I put on the suit. I put on a clean white shirt. I fixed my tie. I looked in the mirror. This was the real me. Not the poor server. Not the broken man. This was Jackson, the owner, the winner. I left the room. I walked down another hallway. I came to a door. The sign said, "Control Room." I opened the door. A young man sat inside. He worked with computers and screens. He controlled all the video screens in the party room. "Mr. Jackson," he said. He stood up fast. "Is everything ready?" I asked. "Yes, sir," he said. "Everything is ready. I wait for your signal." "Good," I said. "I will tell you when." I looked at the screens. I saw Holden on stage. I saw the crowd watching him. Holden spoke into the microphone again. "Now I want to talk about something important," Holden said. "I want to talk about ethics. I want to talk about family. I want to talk about doing business the right way." People listened. They nodded their heads. They believed him. I almost laughed. Holden talked about ethics. Holden talked about doing things the right way. But Holden destroyed my father with lies and fraud. "Family is everything," Holden said. "I learned that from my beautiful wife." "Stella, please stand up." Stella stood up. She smiled. She waved at the crowd. Everyone clapped for her. "Stella supports me in everything," Holden said. "She is loyal. She is strong. She is perfect." I looked at the young man in the control room. "Now," I said. "Yes, sir," he said. He pushed buttons on his computer. He clicked his mouse. Won the stage, behind Holden, there was a giant screen. It was supposed to show Holden's presentation. It was supposed to show nice pictures and charts, but it did not show those things. The screen changed. It showed something else. It showed bank statements. Holden's bank statements. They showed secret accounts. They showed stolen money. They showed illegal payments. The crowd saw it. People stopped clapping. People started to whisper. Holden kept talking. He did not see the screen behind him. Then the screen changed again. It showed emails. Emails from Holden to his lawyers. The emails talked about how to cheat people, how to steal companies, how to bribe judges. More whispers. Someone pointed at the screen. Then the screen showed tax records. Holden's tax records. They showed he did not pay his taxes. He hid money. He broke the law. People gasped. Someone dropped a glass. It broke on the floor. Holden stopped talking. He saw people looking behind him. He turned around. He saw the screen. He saw his secrets on display. His face went white. His mouth opened. No words came out. Then the screen showed one more thing. It showed the fraud against my father, the fake contracts, the fake debts, the lies that destroyed my father's company. It showed everything, every detail, every document, every proof. The crowd went completely silent. No one moved. No one spoke. Holden found his voice. "Turn it off!" he screamed. "Turn off that screen! Now!" He looked at the tech crew. They stood near the stage. "Turn it off!" Holden screamed again. His face was red now, not white, red with anger and fear. But the tech crew did not move. They worked for me, not for Holden. The screen kept showing the evidence. More emails, more bank records, more proof of crimes. Stella stood up. She looked at the screen. She looked at Holden. She looked confused. She looked scared. People in the crowd started to talk loudly. Some people took out their phones. They took pictures of the screen. They recorded videos. Holden ran to the side of the stage. He tried to pull the plug, but the wires were locked. He could not reach them. "Who did this?" he screamed. "Who is doing this?" I watched from the control room. I watched him panic. I watched him fall apart. This was just the beginning. The real surprise was still coming. I left the control room. I walked toward the main doors. It was time to show myself. It was time to finish this. 10 years of waiting, 10 years of planning, 10 years of pain. Now came the reward. The main doors opened. Bright lights hit the doorway. Everyone turned to look. Men in suits walked in. They wore badges. Some said FBI. Some said IRS. Some were police officers. The crowd moved back. People whispered. People looked scared. But the agents did not lead the group. I did. I walked in front of them. I wore my expensive suit. I walked slowly. I walked with confidence. I walked like a man who owned everything. The crowd stared at me. They did not understand. They saw me in an apron before. Now I wore a suit that cost more than a car. I walked down the center of the room. The agents followed behind me. Their footsteps were loud in the silent room. Stella saw me. Her eyes went wide. Her mouth opened. "Jackson?" she said. Her voice was small. "What are you doing?" "You are a waiter." I did not answer her. I kept walking. I walked toward the stage. Holden saw me too. He stood frozen on the stage. He looked at me. He looked at the agents. He looked confused and angry. I climbed the stairs to the stage. I walked straight to Holden. I stood in front of him. He was taller than me. But right now, I was bigger. I had the power. I had the truth. "Get off my stage," Holden said. His voice shook. "Your stage?" I said. "This is not your stage. This is my building. This is my party. This is my night." I reached out. I took the microphone from his hand. He tried to hold it, but I pulled harder. I took it. I turned to face the crowd. Everyone watched me. No one made a sound. "Good evening," I said into the microphone. "My name is Jackson Chen. Some of you saw me earlier tonight. I wore an apron. I served drinks. I looked like a poor man." People whispered. They remembered me. "But I am not poor," I said. "I am not a waiter. I am the owner of Vanguard Holdings." More whispers. People looked at each other. They looked confused. Holden made a sound of shock, of fear. "That is right, Holden," I said. I turned to look at him. "Vanguard Holdings. The company you just signed a contract with. The company you thought you bought tonight." "You?" Holden said. "You own Vanguard?" "Yes," I said. "I built it. I built it over 10 years. I built it just for you." I turned back to the crowd. "10 years ago, this man destroyed my family," I said. I pointed at Holden. "He used fraud. He used fake contracts. He stole my father's company. My father died because of the stress, because of the loss." I saw people in the crowd look at the screen. The evidence was still there. They saw the proof. "Holden thought he won," I said. "He took everything from me. He took my father's business. He took my wife. He thought I was finished." I looked at Stella. She sat in her seat. She looked pale. She looked sick. "But I was not finished," I said. "I spent 10 years planning. I spent 10 years building. I spent 10 years buying." "Buying what?" someone in the crowd asked. "His debts," I said. "Holden is rich. But Holden also has many debts. Bad debts. Secret debts. Debts he hid from everyone." I looked at Holden. His face was white again. "I bought them all," I said. "I bought every bad debt Holden had. I bought them from banks. I bought them from his partners. I bought them quietly, slowly, over 5 years." Holden tried to speak. No words came out. "The contract you signed tonight was not an acquisition," I said. "You did not buy my company. You admitted that you owe me money. You admitted your debts. You made it legal. You made it official." I held up the contract, the one Holden signed on stage. "This paper says you owe Vanguard Holdings $200 million, I said. "It says you must pay now. It says if you cannot pay, I take everything. Your company, your houses, your cars, everything." The crowd gasped. Some people stood up. Holden fell to his knees. His hands shook. "You cannot do this," he said. "I already did it," I said. "You signed the paper. You made it legal." I turned to the agents behind me. "These men are here for you, Holden," I said. "They have warrants. They have evidence. The evidence on that screen. Tax evasion, fraud, bribery, many crimes." 2 police officers walked onto the stage. They walked toward Holden. "Holden Morrison," one officer said. "You are under arrest." Holden tried to run, but he had nowhere to go. The officers grabbed his arms. They put handcuffs on his wrists. Stella screamed. She ran to the stage. "No!" she cried. "This is wrong. Jackson, stop this." I looked at her. I felt nothing. No love. No hate. Just cold truth. "This is justice." "Stella," I said, "this is what happens when you choose the wrong side." The officers took Holden away. He did not fight. He could not fight. Stella stood alone on the floor. She cried. She looked up at me. "Jackson, please," she said, but I turned away. I gave the microphone to someone else. My work here was done. Holden stood up. The handcuffs were on his wrists, but his face was full of rage. He looked at me. His eyes were wild. He was angry. He was desperate. "You destroyed me," he screamed. He ran at me. His hands were locked together, but he tried to hit me with them. I stepped to the side. I moved calmly. I did not fight back. Holden ran past me. He almost fell. 2 police officers grabbed him. They held his arms tight. "Calm down, sir," one officer said. "Let me go," Holden screamed. "He is lying. He tricked me." "We have the evidence, sir," the officer said. "We have everything we need." Another agent stepped forward. He was from the IRS. He held papers in his hand. "Mr. Morrison," the agent said, "we are freezing all your assets, your bank accounts, your properties, your company. Everything is frozen now." Holden's face went from red to white. His body went weak. The officers held him up. "No," Holden said. His voice was small now. "No, you cannot do this." "We can, sir," the agent said. "We have legal authority. Your accounts are closed. Your company is under investigation." They started to walk Holden toward the door. He did not fight anymore. He looked broken. He looked small. Stella watched them take Holden away. Then she turned to me. She ran across the stage. Her expensive shoes made loud sounds on the floor. "Jackson!" she cried. "Jackson, wait!" Her hands were shaking. Tears ran down her face. "Jackson, please listen to me," she said. Her voice was different now. Not cold, not superior. She sounded desperate. "What?" I said. My voice was calm. "He tricked me," she said. "Holden tricked me. He lied to me. He forced me to stay with him." I looked at her. I said nothing. "I wanted to leave him," she said. The tears fell faster. "I wanted to come back to you, but I could not. He controlled everything. He controlled me." "Did he?" I asked. "Yes," she said. "Jackson, you must believe me. I still remember us. I still remember our love. We were happy. We can be happy again." She held my arm tighter. She looked into my eyes. She tried to look sweet. She tried to look innocent. I looked back at her. I felt nothing. No love, no hate, no anger, just cold emptiness. "Stella," I said. My voice was quiet but hard. "Yes," she said. Hope filled her eyes. "You were not tricked," I said. Her face changed. The hope started to die. "You chose," I said. "You chose to leave me. You chose Holden. You chose his money over our love. You chose power over loyalty." "No, Aya Euro," she started. "You did," I said. "You said it yourself 10 years ago. You said Holden promised you a real life. You said I could not give you enough. You chose the winner." She opened her mouth. No words came out. "And today," I said, "you lost." I pulled my arm away from her hands. I stepped back. "You did not lose a husband," I said. "You lost that 10 years ago when you walked out. Today, you lost your king. You lost your money. You lost your power." Stella fell to her knees. She cried harder. Her perfect makeup ran down her face. The police officers took Holden through the main doors. He was gone. They took him to jail. Federal agents talked to each other. They made phone calls. They did their work. Some people stayed and whispered. Stella knelt alone in the middle of the big room. Her red dress looked bright against the dark floor. She looked so small now, so alone, so broken. She lost Holden. She lost the money. She lost the life she chose. And she finally understood. She lost the only man who truly loved her. She lost that man 10 years ago, and he was never coming back. I turned away from her. I walked off the stage. I did not look back. Part 7. I walked out of the building. The night air was cool. I walked to my car. People still talked inside. The police still worked. But I was done. My part was finished. I got into my car. It was a nice car, but it was not loud or flashy. I did not need to show off. I started the engine. I drove away from the party. I drove away from the crowd. I drove away from Stella and Holden and all of it. I did not go home. Not yet. I drove to a quiet place, a cemetery. The gates were open. I drove inside slowly. I parked my car. I got out. I walked across the grass. I came to a grave, a simple stone. My father's name was on it. I stood there. I looked at the stone. The moon was bright. I could see everything clearly. I did it, Dad, I said quietly. I got him. I got justice for you. The wind blew softly. The trees moved a little. I did not feel happy. I did not feel joy. I did not laugh or celebrate. I felt relief. I felt peace. I felt like a heavy weight left my body. I did not use a gun, I said. I did not use my fists. I used patience. I used the truth. I used the law the right way. I thought about Holden. He thought money could buy anything. He thought money could buy judges. He thought money could buy the law. But he was wrong. Money can buy many things, I said, but it cannot buy the truth. The truth is the only thing that cannot be bought. I stood there for a long time. I said goodbye to my father. I said goodbye to my pain. Then I walked back to my car. I got in. I started the engine. I drove toward the exit. The sky was changing. The sun started to rise. Orange and pink light filled the sky. I drove slowly. I looked at the sunrise. It was beautiful. I thought about Stella. She returned with Holden tonight. She came to show off. She came to prove she won. But she did not win. She lost everything. She returned with him to watch him fall. And she watched me rise. 10 years of pain, 10 years of work, 10 years of waiting. It was finally over. I drove into the sunrise. I drove toward my future. A future without revenge. A future without hate. A future with peace. If you enjoyed this story, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to Teddy English Story for more engaging tales every week. Thanks for watching.